Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Shema Yisrael, Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Shema, Shema, Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Shema, Shema, Shema Yisrael, Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh your power is one power. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
All praises and honor be to the Messiah, Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, King of kings and King of the worlds, the one who was, who is, and who is to come. We give you thanks, O Most High, for your love and compassion for our people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We give you thanks for remembering us in this place of captivity and this land of our chastisement, for remembering us as a people, and for continually giving us the knowledge and the tools that we need to come back to the truth, to come back closer to you, and ultimately so you can rebuild us as a people as we're supposed to be. We give you thanks, we give you praises. We pray that you bless this congregation, that you bless everyone that's here today and people that are at home, those people that are watching live, that you send a special blessing to them and their families. Keep all of us safe. Give us the prosperity that we need. Give us the spiritual strength that we need so we continue to prosper and so we can make progress in this land. Forgive our sins and our iniquity. Be with us. Bless this Shabbat day. We ask all those things not deserving, but by Hashem Mashiach Yahushai to water on. Shalom Aleichem.
Alecha shalom.
Shalom Aleichem.
Alecha shalom.
First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahushai for his love and enduring compassion for our people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. When we Right, so like that for this pause. When we look around the world, we can see that we are in fact living in the last days. I don't have to say it. You can see it. I can see it. Everybody can see it. Things are changing rapidly. The superpowers are gearing up for battle. Countries are preparing for war. Countries are threatening countries. Right? And it seems like it's just a matter of time before this thing get out of hand. So this This whole thing we've been watching is like a TV show, right? And we're getting close to the last episode. That's how I feel. It's like a TV show. And we're getting close to the final season, to the last episode. So now, to begin our lesson, let's start by reading the book of Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1. Let's read Isaiah, chapter 58, verse 1.
The book of Isaiah 58 verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Read it again.
Cry aloud, spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Read.
And shew my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
And show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. So, as we're getting close to the end of this episode, right? I think this cannot be the time for people to lose hope. This cannot be the time for fear, right? There's too many things going on around the world for us to just sit back and not do anything. Scripture says, cry aloud, spare not, right? I mean, if anything, if you can fight for your own self, the best thing you can do is fight for your people. Because our people still lost out there, right? So we have to cry, and we're not going to spare anybody. And these, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Let's read the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 7. Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 7. Cry aloud, spare not, and we will do so whether they will hear or forbear. Read.
Book of Ezekiel 3 verse 7. But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-headed. Hard-hearted.
Ezekiel 2 verse 7.
Okay. The book of Ezekiel 2 verse 7. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
Whose word is it? Is it going to be my word or the Most High's word? Read.
For they shall speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
Whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Read.
For they are the most rebellious.
You heard that? The Bible says, for they are the most rebellious. Read. Read it again.
The book of Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel 2 verse 7. And thou shalt speak my words unto them, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. For they are most rebellious. But thou, son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Be not thou rebellious like that rebellious house. Open thy mouth, and eat I will give.
Right. So, as I mentioned earlier, we are in the last days. You got nuclear powers, powerful countries, they're preparing for battle. You got friends wanting to enter into the war in Ukraine. And you got Russia saying, what's going to happen is not the probability, it's the inevitability. That means it's going to happen. If the French army get in that war in Ukraine, they will respond. And they're probably going to be using what? Nuclear weapons. Why? Because a war between France and Russia is definitely a war between NATO and Russia. So we are in the last days, man. But while this whole thing is happening, a lot of people see our videos. How many of you gonna repent? We got prayer groups, right? How many people joining the prayer groups to pray? Right? We got the sisters praying in the morning. They're praying in the evening. Are you guys praying? That's another thing. Are you repenting? So our lesson today is exiting the evil American slave system. Exiting the evil American slave system. Before all, let's get Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Read it.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth.
Before what?
Before the decree bring forth. Before the day pass as a shaft. Before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you. Before the day of Yahweh angers come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you. One thing I know for sure about our people, we like to wait till the end. We don't like to do things before it get worse. We like to do it after, when all hell break loose. But the Most High warned us. He said, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, gather yourselves together, come together. Because one day you're not going to be able to come together. You're not going to be able to do it. Right? So now, to begin our lesson, I would like you for you to look up something. It's called the estate of the realm. I want all of you, if you have your phone, go on your phone and type the estates of the realm. The estates of the realm. The estates of the realm. Yep, on Wikipedia, read it.
The estate of the realm, Wikipedia. The estate of the realm, or three estates, were the broad orders of social hierarchy used in Christendom, Christian Europe.
Read.
From the Middle Ages to early modern Europe, different system for dividing society members into a state developed and evolved over time.
Right. So now, before we get, a little bit deeper, the Middle Ages was between the years of around 500 to 1500. So essentially, from the fall of Rome to essentially the beginning of the slave trade. That's what's called the Middle Ages for Europe. Read.
The best known system is the French ancient regime, old regime.
So in French, they call it Ancien Régime, which in English is old regime. Read.
A three-estate system which was made up of clergy, the first estate.
The first estate was the clergy. Read.
The nobles, second estate.
The nobles, the second estate.
Peasants.
The peasants.
Uh-huh. And bourgeoisie.
And bourgeoisie. This was the third estate.
Right.
So that old system had three estates, right? The first and the highest estate is the clergy. The second estate is the nobles. And the third estate is the peasants and the bourgeoisie. Now, so again, that's how Christian countries back in the days, they divided themselves. They had things they call classes, social classes. And so it really didn't matter whether you were a good guy or a bad guy. If you belonged to a noble family or if you were part of nobility, they were treating you good. And so if you go to court, right, and you part of the second estate, and this guy is part of the third estate, you're going to get better treatment. And people are more likely to believe you because, obviously, you're on a higher estate than that guy. So that's how it was back in the days. Now, let's read Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 5 right quick. Deuteronomy chapter 19, verse 5.
The book of Deuteronomy 19 and 5. And when a man goeth into the wood with his neighbor, and a neighbor to you who woods.
Salakia, 1925.
1925.
Deuteronomy 19, verse 25. Salakia, Pull Deuteronomy 19 verse 15.
The book of Deuteronomy 19:15. One witness shall not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. He that sinned at the mouth of two witnesses and at the mouth of three witnesses shall the matter be established.
You heard that? So essentially that's how it was. That's how justice was in Israel back in the days. At the mouth of two witnesses shall the matter be established. Keep reading.
Verse 16. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before the Most High, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition, and behold, if the witness be false witness, and had testified falsely against his brother, then shall ye do unto him as he thought to have done unto his brother. So shall thou put the evil away from among you.
All right, let's read Leviticus chapter 19 verse 15 instead of Deuteronomy. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 15. Read it.
Deuteronomy, the book of Leviticus 19 verse 16.
Read.
You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. So essentially, back in the days, and not just back in the days, but according to the Bible, justice should be done in righteousness. It shouldn't be about your class. You know, if you're noble or if you're a peasant or if you're part of the clergy. That's not how justice is supposed to be done. So it's supposed to be done based on your righteousness and based on the fact that you are one of our people. That's how you're supposed to be treated. If you do good, you're going to get good judgment. If you did bad, you're going to get bad judgment. You're going to get punished accordingly. So, as I mentioned earlier, in Europe, they had this system called the estates of the realm, or the three estate. Now, there is a fourth estate that emerged later on, and you guys might have heard of it, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. That fourth estate is basically what they call the media. That come later on. The media, I'm talking about the scribes, that is called the fourth estate. Now, one thing that happened after the slave trade, the Europeans, they learned something. And what they learned is that you can make someone a slave, and he lives as a slave and die as a slave. He doesn't even know that he was ever a slave. So, and the way they do that is to have a new form of class, a new form of social class, a new form of hierarchy. And you're going to find out most of the people, that your neighbors, your friends, your family, we all belong to the lowest class in society. And it's a shame. Okay? And I'm going to show you. Does anyone have a dollar bill? Who has a dollar bill? Let me see. I want to show you something right quick. Now, if you look at this dollar bill, and I'm sure you can Google it, you can put, pyramid in the dollar bill. Here, you're going to see a pyramid, right? On top of the pyramid, you have the all-seeing eye. But interesting thing is that pyramid is unfinished. The pyramid is unfinished. It's not done. In the top part, it seems like it belongs to the pyramid, but it doesn't belong to the pyramid because it's disconnected from the pyramid. And with the all-seeing eye, it's literally watching over the pyramid. And there are 13 steps to get to the very top. 13 steps to get to the top, right? And here on top, it says, annuit coeptis, and in the bottom, it says, Novo Ordo Seclorum, in Latin, which means the new order of the ages. What is that new order? What is that new order of the ages? We're going to talk about it, right? So let's put that on the side. So in the United States, the American, what I call the modern American slave system, you can put it as mass. The modern American slave system has 13 estates. Pay attention to that. It has 13 estates. The first estate is the field slaves. Okay? The field slaves are the employees and the poor people. The employees and the poor people. Now, if you work every single day, you can barely make ends meet, you're part of the field slaves. If you work hard and you can barely put food on your table, you can barely pay rent, you can barely do those things, you are part of the field slaves, unfortunately. Okay? And normally the beginning of that estate is you get up, you look for a job, they have you sign papers, you're happy because you're going to get a paycheck, right? You sign the document and you're so happy to strike hand with your boss. Congratulations, you're starting on Monday. You get a nice paycheck. What you don't know, you just literally step in the slave system. Congratulations, now you're a slave. But you're in step 1. You can make it to step 13 though. You just have to work a little harder, right? So the first step is, the first estate or the first step is the field slaves. Now, I want to tell you something. In America, how do they treat poor people? What do you think? How do they treat poor people in America, Minister Yashar?
They don't care about them.
They don't care about them, right?
Right.
But isn't it interesting, those people that work the hardest in America, they usually get paid the less? Let me ask you something. When you go to Walmart, right, you see a couple of young black and Latino kids, they're pushing carts. It's hot. I mean, you're in Florida. It's hot. 100 degrees out there. How much money do you think they get paid? Probably $12, $13.
Used to be $8.40.
I used to do that, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I was getting paid $7.75. Totally embarrassing. I come close to passing out a couple of times. It was hot. And you push, now they have the machine that can help you push the carts. Back in the days, we had no machine. I had to push 40 carts with my all the power that I got. Push! And then after that, they say, all right, if you guys work hard, we're going to give you a Gatorade. Good slaves. This is what you call the field slaves. In America, people don't care about poor people. Okay? And what I find is, especially from Edomites, one thing, they think if you become poor in America, it's your fault. They don't look at other factors such as PTSD. A lot of soldiers, they came from the battlefield, they lose their mind, they lose their brain, and they end up having PTSD. The next thing, maybe you have some kind of unexpected health problem. All your savings go to, saving your life or your kid's life. Other thing is maybe you and your wife, you lose your job. America don't care, and especially the white folks. I'm gonna tell you something. It's only when a couple of white people become poor, they realize what it's like to be poor. For the most part, they blame you. They say, nah, it's your fault. Why don't you go to school? Why don't you do this? Until they themselves become poor. Like I was watching a video, this white lady, her husband got sick and had some kind of cancer, and she ended up spending all her money to take care of her husband. Then she ended up losing her house, and she became homeless. And she was literally sitting by the road, like poor as hell. And there's a cop that wanted to talk to her, a black police officer, and he was like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I'm living in a country full of people. Is now I realize that you can live in a place where there's 1 million people, you still all alone, because nobody care about you. Once you poor, nobody care about you. But then the reason why I put the employees and the poor people are in the same category, because you as an employee, you are one paycheck away from being poor. One paycheck away.
Already poor.
You,
Poor and homeless.
so you poor, but not all the way poor.
Is the homeless is a state? They might as well
That's part of it.
probably 14 state.
Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 7 right quick. Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 7.
By the way, America has the largest homeless population in the whole world.
You heard that?
The largest among every other nations, right? Right?
Read
Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 7.
Leviticus or not?
Deuteronomy chapter 15 verse 7.
Deuteronomy 15.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Yeah.
The book of Deuteronomy 15 verse 7. And he that touches the flesh of him that had the issue shall wash his clothes. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Leviticus. Deuteronomy 15 verse 7. If there be among you a poor man, one of thy brethren within any of thy gates, in thy land which the Most High hath given thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother.
Thou shalt not what?
Thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother.
So if you have someone that's poor in your neighborhood, you're not supposed to harden your heart and say, nah, man, that's his fault. That's his fault. I mean, we all had the same opportunity. No, we don't. And you know, Edomites, they love to say things like that. We all had the same opportunity. No, we don't. You had your grandpa that used to enslave our people. Your grandpa got wealth that passed down, generational wealth that we never had. So no, we never had the same opportunity. But among us as a people, when we see someone poor, it is our responsibility to help that person. We cannot harden our heart. We have to help. Read.
Verse 8, but thou shalt open thy hand wide unto him, and shalt surely lend him sufficient for his need, and that which he wanted.
Gone. Also, get the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 20 to 22.
The book of Luke 6:22.
Read.
Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from the company.
Verse 20 to 22.
Luke 6 verse 20. And he lifted up his eyes on his disciples and said, Blessed be ye poor.
Bless what?
Blessed be ye poor.
Read.
For yours is the kingdom of the Most High.
For yours is the kingdom of the Most High. Read.
Blessed are ye, you that hunger now, for ye shall be filled. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. Blessed are ye when men hate you, and when they shall separate from you their company, and they shall reproach you and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake.
For the Son of Man's sake. You gotta understand the kingdom that is to come. Many of those people that the world treated like trash. Our people essentially here in this land, we're treated like trash. We're in the bottom of society. But if we do the righteousness of the Most High, we're finally going to have rest in the world to come. And this is why Hamashiach said, blessed are ye poor, for the kingdom is yours. Everything that you wanted, now you can finally have it. Because this place you're living here is savage. They don't care about poor people. You really think they can't solve the poverty problems in America? You really think they can't solve the homeless problem in America? You really think they can't solve it? You really think they can't solve the drug problems? You really think the VA don't have money to take care of the homeless veterans?
I mean, think about it. If you can send $200 billion to Ukraine, you telling me you can't solve the homeless problem? I mean, the least you can do is start with the veterans, right? Those veterans, they go to Iraq. They go to Afghanistan. They go all over the world thinking they're fighting for freedom, thinking they're going to defend the country. When they come back, the country's not going to defend them. You're going to come missing legs and arms. Nobody cares. I mean, I went to VA and I saw how it was. A bunch of them are lost like Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? So, like, who's fighting for them? I mean, you may not be able to take care of all the homeless people. The least you can do is start with the vets. That's the least you could do. So now the next thing, the next step on the ladder is the house slaves. The house slaves are your supervisors. Oh, we're going to talk about the supervisors. The managers, the supervisors, your task masters. Okay? Those, they're going to work you worse than a donkey. Your taskmaster is going to work you worse than a slave. And guess what? They have all kind of metrics. They have KPIs. They have numbers that they know you can never meet those metrics. You can never meet those KPIs. Those quotas, you can never meet them. But they're going to try to force you to meet them. So your supervisors, your taskmasters, your managers, they are part of the second estate. They are all working for the system. And a lot of them, all they talk about is, I have great benefits. I'm gonna be retiring. I'm gonna make a lot of money. Just to find out when they retire, the last 10 years they have left of their miserable life, they don't even have enough money to take care of themselves. Okay? Of course, inflation. And every year things get more expensive. If you had planned for a $3,000 per month retirement for the last 10 years of your life, how much money do you think $3,000 is gonna be worth in the next 10 years? 10 years is gonna be like $800. You need more money. So that system, that American slave system, I call it MAS, the modern American slave system, is built that way. And I know the brother just came. So the first estate is what we call the field slaves. The second one is the house slaves. The house slaves, those are your supervisors. They love masa. And you know the worst thing is sometimes is when you have a brother as your supervisor. You thought he's your brother. No. He gonna work you like a slave. He's worse. Black Latino supervisors, man, it's over. It's over. No, they train them well. And they put them under pressure so they can put you under pressure. Right? So let's get something. Let's get Exodus chapter 1 verse 11. Exodus chapter 1 verse 11. The book of Exodus 1 verse 11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
They did what?
They did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
They set over them taskmasters. Remember, in Egypt, we were slaves, right? We did have what? We had taskmasters. We had people over us. And in Egypt, the taskmasters were what? They were Israelites. They put Israelite taskmasters over us. So your supervisor, your manager, he's your taskmaster. And a lot of you, I know you fearing your boss, you fearing your manager. I tell you, if you want to get out of this slave system, you better stop fearing them. Because they're no better than you. A lot of them, your supervisors, they're just like you. They're broke. They ain't got nothing. And because they're trying to get that bonus money, they're going to work you like a donkey. So don't fall for this. And the next step, of course, we have to talk about the next step. The third estate in the American slave system is the skilled workers or the small business owners. Don't you realize something? After you used to be a supervisor, you have some kind of skills. You'll be like, man, James doing good. He finally has a small business, man. He's working for himself. The next phase is for you to be your own boss, or at least you believe you're your own boss, right? He's got his own business, he's doing good. But here's something. The biggest mistake those small business owners make, they go and get a huge loan. Now, you can't really take days off because you have to pay your loans. So where's the freedom you was looking for? You still ain't got it. Right? So we are so proud of saying, man, I work for myself. You know what I'm saying? I got my small business. But you do have a loan, don't you?
At least when you were in the field estate, you could take some days and sick days off.
Not now.
Now that you're at the little shop, you better work, Negro.
Work! And you better work a lot. That's why you have some small business owners, man. You see them guys, they're sweating. They work Monday to Friday, sometimes to Monday to Sunday. Every day. Right? But in your mind, you know, you don't have a small business. You're like, wow, man, this brother's doing good. You know, it's like he went from a 1995 Honda Civic to a Cybertruck. No, he's still suffering. He's just like you. In fact, he might be worse than you. Because at the end of the day, when you finish cutting all the paycheck you give to your employees, there's nothing left. Nothing left. Because I know this brother, man, he had a business. And I thought, man, he's doing good. Came to find out he was making just $800 a month. I'm like, only $800 a month because he has to pay the vehicle. He had to pay insurance. He had to pay tax. He had to pay a bunch of things, loans.
Oh, did you know small business pay 40% tax of all your income?
Yes, please tell him 40% tax, which is I think is highway robbery.
Now that's outside of you have to actually buy merchandise. You have to actually pay repair and different things, pay yourself. But the government requires 40% tax, include your social security.
40% tax. And guess what? As we go higher on the estate system, you're going to find out some people up there, they ain't paying the taxes. In fact, some people up there, they don't have no income, yet they have income. Like how? You're like, how's that possible? You're going to find out. So the next step after you have a small business, you know, you've been in business, now maybe you have 2 or 3 or 4 more franchise or something like that. You start making good money. The next step, you want to become an elected politician. That's the next step. Most of your governors, of your mayors, of your senators, like I'm talking about state senators, they had a small business or a law practice. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. So after you got a couple of small businesses, you feel like, yeah, I need to be a politician now. I need to be famous. But politicians, how do you become a politician? You just have to be crooked. You want to be a good politician? Do 2 things. Make sure your background look clean. I didn't say it has to be clean. It has to look clean. And then be very crooked. That's all you have to do. Find people that got money, shake their hands, and see how you can make money and circumvent every single laws, and you're gonna see how you're gonna excel. That's the 4th estate in the American slave system.
Let me say something here. There was one of those guy that caught in drugs, one of those mayor or something in Miami. I think he was Asian too, but in court, when the guys start revealing that there's higher ups that's involved, they had a closed court trial, a closed trial, because
he's talking too much.
This man was about to reveal governors, senators. So they had to have a closed trial because they realized, damn, that thing go all the way to Washington.
Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that brother that was running for office? He was the mayor of Tallahassee, Mace Gilliam. Came to find out, this guy had a whole sex party with men, and they were doing drugs in Miami and beyond crooked, but nobody knew. I mean, I saw him when he was talking. That's way before. I'm like, okay, this guy could be a governor, even president. No.
That's what they do, bro. They all do it.
Then he came out. He has his wife and I think 2 or 4 kids. He came out and he's like, "Yeah, I'm bisexual." Really? They had the police came. They had a video of him completely naked with a bunch of men. That's what I'm telling you. A lot of those politicians you guys voting for, you love them. I'm gonna cast a vote. I'm a great American. I'm so proud. You don't know who you're voting for. You just don't know. Those men, they are wicked as hell. Now, the first sign, if you want to vote for a politician, look at his t-shirt and see if he has fringes. Now, I say trust him all the way because now I see wicked people trying to wear fringes now. But that's the first sign. Is he wearing fringes? Because that's a sign. Then you can start digging in his background and see if you see a couple of videos of him talking about the truth. Then I'd be like, okay, I might trust him a little bit. Not all the way, though. I have to be careful. But a lot of those politicians you guys are voting for, they are wicked as hell. And they are part of the fourth estate.
But I want to say this, like, as you talk about the fourth estate, still slaves to the system.
They're still slaves.
A lot of them, they don't have a choice but to be part of some kind of circle, orgy circle and drug circle. Because if you want to go up there, there's people that have to sponsor you. And for them to sponsor you, they need to trust you. And for them to trust you, they need to have something on you.
I mean, why do you think?
Why have to have leverage that this guy is not gonna know too much, run his mouth too much, or not do what we want him to do.
Let me ask you something. Why do you think Congress can never pass any law against Israel, no matter what they do? Why? Because the Israeli lobby is powerful. They buy all of them. Like all of them receiving some kind of payment from some kind of Jewish super PAC.
And they got something on them.
You understand what I'm saying?
They're black.
So your politician that you see up there, they are owned by someone, and we're gonna find out. The next step, the fifth estate, is your celebrities that you worship. Oh, I was gonna talk about them. You thought I was gonna forget? So you got rappers like Kendrick Lamar, Rick Ross, Travis Scott. I mean, those guys have millions of dollars, right? They don't have billions, but they have millions, right? So, but here's the thing. Did you know for them to get those millions, they have to sign with a record label? Who do you think owned the record label? How do you think a lot of them become famous? It's because they had to do something that they would not normally do.
P. Diddy.
Right? It's only now we're finding out a lot of the celebrities that as kids we used to look up to. You find out those guys they're deep into homosexuality and sex trafficking. Right? And I remember I was watching a video, DMX. He was talking. He's like, man, I just want to do music. I don't even know why I have to be like buddy with people. I don't want to do none of that stuff. Why do you think let's have dinner? Come to my house. Let's take showers naked. Why? You're just trying to sing. Why do you have to take shower naked with a couple of old white people? They're probably recording this whole thing and use it against you. Right? So a lot of those rappers, they've already sold their soul to the system for money, for fame. And that's why a lot of those artists, a lot of those actors, they had to wear dresses before they get famous. I don't even have to say. You can look at Dwayne Wade Johnson. He had to wear dresses. Look at Kevin Hart. He wore a dress. He did wear a dress a couple of times. Look at Jamie Foxx. He had to wear the dress. Why do you have to wear a dress? And they will put it in the script and say, nah, man, it's good. You have to. Because there's an agenda behind it. Those people up there that's cutting the paycheck, there's an agenda. They want you to wear a dress. It's part of the ritual. It's part of the humiliation for you being a Negro trying to get all the way up there. Right? So we're going to talk about how to exit the system, but I have to break down the system for you. So right above that, right?
Hold on. Before you move on to
Sure.
Make a state. Look at P. Diddy, man. What happened to that guy? You know, like, it's really messed up. Finding out a lot of different things. You know, what he used to make those young artists coming up do, man.
And you going and it's those young artists, his same people.
Did they catch him yet?
Oh no, man. They're not gonna catch him that easily. Why? Because they know he can expose other people. So them people on the very top, which we're gonna talk about, they have to protect him. Because PDD was not doing this thing alone. Just like Jeffrey Epstein, he had a whole island where celebrities would go, politicians to commit pedophilia with little girls. And when they showed little boys and little girls, and on the list they had over 200 politicians, some of them ex-presidents. They would go to Epstein Island to be raping 16-year-old girls. And for some reason, Jeffrey Epstein ended up dying mysteriously. Committed suicide. On that day, when he died, they put a security guard in the rotation that never worked there before. And it so happened none of the cameras work. Oh, we're going to talk about it. The truth is coming out today. Right, so the next step in the American slave system, on the modern American slave system,
But also,
is the sixth estate.
You're moving too fast because a lot of people don't know. Like when he's saying the slave system, your celebrities are slave to the system too. They can't do whatever they want to do. Remember Miley Cyrus? She got to a point she wanted to leave Disney, and they told her, we're going to expose all your little pictures showing that you're lesbian. And to defy the system, she had to become real lesbian. Because they start leaking pictures of her doing things with other grown women doing things. So, like, it's crazy out there, man.
And also, if I can say something, that goes for all you in the truth. Make sure you have a clean record. If you be doing wickedness, they're gonna expose you one day. One day they're gonna come to you and say, listen, you don't leave that Hebrew Israelite stuff, all your pictures gonna be out. And you're like, oh my God. Oh, good Lord. So you better have a clean record. You better be doing righteousness. Because they can expose you. All your little information, all your little secrets you think you're hiding, they can expose them in the blink of an eye. They got the power and the money. So it's not hard.
and they got your phone.
Easy. One click. Bam. They download all your little information and start leaking. You're like, oh man, I didn't know that brother was into that. You are exposed.
You don't see like your Google Drive? Automatically you buy an Android. It connects to Google Drive. And some years later, Google is showing you in this day, that was your picture.
It registered the day when you took a picture so it can show you again that I'm kind of looking every day. Right? So you have to be careful. That system, the higher you get, the darker it gets. And that's how you see people on the very top, they do a lot of vile stuff. I'm going to tell you something. Did you know in Denmark, they had a whole brothel where people would come and rape pets? Yes, it's beyond disgusting. They would be bringing dogs. They would capture the neighbor's dogs to bring it so people can rape their dog. I mean, come on, man. Like, I mean, I understand people do bad things, but this is vile, beyond disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Animals, dude. Animals. People raping pets. It was a hacker that found out about it and exposed the whole thing. And that country had to make bestiality illegal. So why wasn't it illegal in the first place? Because the politicians probably was raping pets. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with Esau? What's wrong with people? It's a damn shame. It's an embarrassment. Esau is finished, man.
They're still doing it here.
So let's talk about the sixth estate. So the sixth estate in the mass system, modern American slave system, is the magnates. You guys probably never heard of that word. What is a magnet? So a magnate means great in Latin. And nowadays, a magnate means someone who's super wealthy. I'm not talking about a billionaire. A multi-billionaire, that's a magnate. Once you start having 2 billion, then you start considering yourself as a magnate. That means you really, really have money. You have a lot of money, right? So we're talking about like people like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Bernard Jean-Etienne Arnault. This guy is a French guy, so rich. He's beyond rich. And you also have people like Jeff Bezos. Those guys have billions, multi-billions of dollars. When you reach that position, now you start creating lab meat. Because you ain't got nothing else to do with your money. You'll be like, all right, how do I kill half of the population? You have so much money. How do I...
Oh, you didn't say the Microsoft guy.
What's his name again?
Bill Gates.
The guy who used to put virus on every computer.
Bill Gates?
Bill Gates. Even your apple cider is all GMOs. Now, your watermelons are all seedless. If something is seedless, it cannot reproduce. It's a gay watermelon. You know what I'm saying? So, this is, when you reach the state of being a magnet now, you have bigger and higher projects. And those things you do, they don't have good projects. They have bad projects now. Evil projects. I think that Bill Gates guy, he ended up buying a bunch of land, tons and tons of land, so he can monopolize the entire farming system in America. And what do you think he's going to do with that farming system? Is he going to plant healthy? No, it's going to be all GMOs. Right? So
now, let me say something. Like guys like Elon Musk, you thought those guys have money, they're free, right? But look at what happened in Israel. He said something against the Jewish that made him go to the wall.
I was going to get to that.
Oh, you were going to get to it?
Don't say it. You know I'm going to get to it, right? So, give me that verse in Ephesians, right? Powers in dark places. Ephesians 6.
Ephesians 6 and 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Against spiritual wickedness in high places. Once you start becoming a magnet, the kind of things you're dealing with is no small thing. The kind of things those people be doing is things that can either kill 100 or 1 billion people easily. They got power. But you're going to find out even them, they have powers above them. And this is exactly what Minister Yeshua was saying. Elon Musk, he thought he had power. I mean, the man created SpaceX. He's the chief engineer of Tesla, essentially built Tesla. He has the Neuralink company. He's a multi-billionaire, the richest man in America. Yet, there's a group of people that's making him afraid. How is that possible? He said something that came across as anti-Semitism, which they're trying to use anti-Semitism. They are not even Semites. But that's the story. They say, sir, it's anti-Semitism. And all of a sudden, Elon Musk fall like a dollar bill. He had to immediately fly to Israel.
They made him lose money too.
Oh, I'm sure. He lost billions of dollars. He had contracts with, there was a lot of advertisement in Twitter. First of all, the whole thing happened because they got upset he was opening up Twitter. People could say whatever they want. There was finally a little bit of freedom on Twitter. And they were like, nah, you're not supposed to do that. If you do that, we're going to cut all the advertisement. He's like, I don't care. They said, oh, really? They came together and they start hammering on him. The first thing they unleash is going to be the next estate, which is the media. We're going to talk about the media. The first thing they unleash is that powerful conglomerate media, right?
And the second thing, they start cutting advertisement. Those people, they come together and they know how to make you squeal. So he says something which wasn't even that bad, but they say, you see, this is anti-Semitism. So he had to quickly fly to Israel and shake the prime minister's hand and say, I love Jewish people. I wouldn't say anything against them. I love them. And then he had to go to Auschwitz to see the Holocaust thing, and then basically to apologize to them. So yes, there's power above powers. You could think you are powerful. There's going to be somebody that's more powerful than you. So the next estate which is the seventh estate, is the media. Right? And we're going to talk about the media. The media, ladies and gentlemen, is powerful. Much more powerful than you can think. Okay? Oh, we're going to talk about that. First of all, the media right here in the United States control narratives. Doesn't it so happen the day that war started in Ukraine, people stopped talking about the coronavirus?
Oh, coronavirus is over.
Listen, the media kept talking about coronavirus every single day. Coronavirus. Then boom, the war in Ukraine start. All right, we have better things to talk about now.
Coronavirus is over.
It's over. And then there was a war that was going on. Iran and Israel nearly go to war, right? Then they stop talking about everything else. Israel. What about them wars that's going on in Africa? There's been wars in Yemen. There's been wars in Congo.
Sudan,
there's been wars in Sudan, where wars in Libya, people enslaving people. They don't talk about those things. But the moment there's even a gunshot fired in Israel, the whole world is like, there's something going on in Israel. I don't care. Why not talk about something that's going on in Libya or something like that? They're not people. But you're gonna find out there's a reason why those people, they put them above other people. In part is because they have absolute control of your media. Okay? Now, one thing about the modern American media that we see, they will make the guilty seem innocent and the innocent seem guilty. In part, we are the only group that's talking about the evil that's being done in the world. We are the only group pushing righteousness. But if you go on Wikipedia right now, they're going to be like, Hebrew Israelites are bad. We don't harm no people. You got KKKs rounding up people and killing black people all the time. We don't do that, and we don't advocate for violence at all. We want you to keep the commandments, and the Most High will do the rest. Yet, why is it all of a sudden they try to make us look like evil? You know what I'm saying? Demonize us or something. Why? Because they have control of the media. They control YouTube. We know it. Every day they try to delete our videos.
They are.
Right? So now, did you know that the majority of TV channels and radio stations are owned by one person? Her name is Sherry Redstone. She's the owner of Viacom. Even BET, Black Entertainment TV, is owned by a Jewish lady. Explain that to me. How could you say something against them? Imagine, right? Sir, I hire you as the director of BET. Yeah, we're going to talk about black stuff. The real Jews are black. You are fired. Okay, you don't go too far. You're fired. You can't say that. I know you can say black stuff, you know. You can say a couple of Black Lives Matter stuff, but talking about the real Jews are black, that's it. You're done. You're fired. So they have control of the media. And the media is a powerful estate that a lot of you don't know how much they have used it to push sins, subliminal messages. You're looking at like, for example, Netflix. Every single show, they have to put a black gay character. They have to sprinkle a little homosexuality on it. There was a show, man, I used to love watching that show until they have the main character kissing other men. I was like, come on, dog. That's the only show that I didn't see no homosexuality on it. Then I saw that I had to never watch it again.
they're going to find a way. How do I sprinkle a little gay stuff on it? They have to put a little wickedness. The same thing with the things you eat. The shoes you wear now, they have to be like, how could we make your shoes out of pork to make it unclean? How could we put a little pork on your toothpaste so we can have you sin? Because the wickedness is out of control.
Bread.
Your bread, they definitely have to sprinkle a little pork on it. You know what I'm saying?
That deglyceride up in there, man. You eating pork unaware.
So what I was saying is that the media, being the seventh estate, is extremely powerful. And the media is used to spread lies, to spread propagandas on behalf of governments and on behalf of special groups, right? And as we mentioned earlier, those owners, they are extremely powerful. Some of them, you don't even know their names. You don't know their names. So the next group, the next estate in the slave system is the nobility. What is nobility? Nobility are people like princes, like lords, like the nobles. Like something happens to Prince Harry, everybody, the Prince Harry. Who cares about Prince Harry, right? What's the name of his wife again? Meghan. They won't stop talking about Meghan, which we don't care, right? So those are rich families. Nobles are rich families, like rich Saudis or rich Jewish families, rich people like rich Jefferson. You ever heard of the Jefferson family or the JFK family or the Bush family? Those are rich families. They are nobles. And they can apply for anything. For example, they apply for a college. If their name says Bush, you gotta take them in. So they don't even to have money. Their names is so special. Their last name is so special. You have to put them in the school. And if it's a job, you have to hire them. Right? Those are nobility. Those are noble families. You had something?
Now, there was a name I was trying to remember. It's a Jewish family that owned the oil industry.
Oh, we're going to get to that.
Rockefeller.
We're going to get to that, right?
Oh, okay. He's another estate.
Oh, yeah.
He's a whole class on his own.
Even more powerful than you could think, right?
All right, go ahead.
So as we just mentioned, the eighth estate is extremely powerful. Those are the nobility. This is the noble families, the Jefferson, the Bush family, and those people. Some of them, they own a lot of companies. They own a lot of land. They have a lot of power. But even them, they are not as powerful as you think. They have people above them. And the next estate.
So you're saying these people control the presidents too?
Oh, you're gonna find out that while they have enough influence to mess up with elections and stuff like that, there are powers that's more powerful than them. The next estate, which is the ninth estate, is the intelligence community and the military-industrial complex. Oh, we're going to talk about them too. Did you know there's something in Congress they call the black budget? Has anybody ever heard of the black budget? Have you heard of the black budget, my brother? The black budget is money that's allocated for things that you're not supposed to talk about. You're supposed to sign the check and give it out to the intelligence community without asking where the money is going and why it's being spent. So sign here to give them $20 billion. Why? Just the black budget. Just sign right here. Don't ask. The intelligence community. Now, I'm not saying, having spies in the country is a bad thing. Because you're going to need spies to protect your country. Because they go out there overseas and they have to watch out for threats. But what I'm saying is that when you have an intelligence community that operates like a country within a country, that is a major problem. And this is why you would have, politicians like Donald Trump, they would not stop talking about the deep state. It's like deep state. The deep state is essentially a shadow government. This is a group of people that are so powerful that president's scared of them. You don't even know who they are. They could be right there in your house. They could be among your security guards, among your secret service. They're everywhere. You don't know. Okay? Even if you were able to get access to all federal agents or something like that, you would not see none of the intelligence people on it. You don't know them. They're in it, and yet they are everywhere. As a matter of fact, when you try to work, for example, for the government, they're gonna go through a bunch of process to check your background and whatnot. Did you know the intelligence community is perfectly allowed to hire someone who works for the Taliban without checking to see if he killed people? They'll say, sir, can you give me access to Osama bin Laden? I know he's dead, but I'm using that as an example. Yes, sir. All right. They're not going to ask him if he did crime before you were hired. I'm going to give you $100,000. Okay? So that estate is extremely powerful. Silakia? I want to read something right quick. Let's get Numbers chapter 13, verse 17. Numbers 13, verse 17. I'm going to give you $1 back so you don't ask for two. Yeah.
The book of Numbers 13, verse 17. And Moses sent them to spy out of the land of Canaan, and said unto them, get you up this way southward, and go up in the mountains. 18.
Read.
And see the land what it is, and the people that dwell therein, whether they be strong or weak, few or many. And what the land is that dwell in them, whether it be good or bad. Or what city there be they dwell in, whether it's tents or strongholds.
So as you can see, Moses needed spies to go spy out and bring information. Jump down to to verse 30 and to 33.
Numbers 13, verse 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it.
Read.
But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we.
So you had Caleb, and also you have, I think, Joshua. They were among a group of spies. There wasn't a total of 12 spies, I think, that was sent. 10 of them from the 10 other tribes, and of course those two were from, one of them from Judah. Caleb came from Judah. So them two, they were like, yeah, everything is good. It's not that bad. But listen to what the other spies say. Read. You're gonna see what spies, what intelligence can do. Read.
But the men that went with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel.
They brought up an evil report, meaning lies, saying, yeah, there's no way you can fight them people, bro. I've never seen people tall like that. These are the tallest people I've seen since the creation of the universe. Well, it's the same thing that happened in places like Iraq. What was the evil report? Saying, like, we have yellow cake. We see yellow cake, they have yellow cake, they're about to make nuclear weapons. You better destroy Iraq right now, right away. Those intelligence reports, they were being fed to the president. And the president had to make decisions based on those reports. But many of them were not true. Was there weapons of mass destruction? Maybe there was a couple of chemical weapons, but nuclear weapons, that they didn't have none. Yet, the war in Iraq happened where over 1 million children died. So you have to be very careful when you have spies. If you cannot control them, the damage they can do is incalculable. Okay? And especially if those spies, they work with what I call the military-industrial complex. Because the military-industrial complex, they need to make money.
It's all about war.
I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't care about Trump. During the time of Trump, there was no wars, no major wars at least, right? Boeing was not making no money. And they were mad. They tried to send an airplane, a new Air Force One. Trump is like, nah, too expensive. We need it cheaper. They were like, this guy. And then as soon as Mr. Joe became president, now Boeing stock is going up. Why? Because it's war everywhere. Okay, so the military-industrial complex, it's this what they want. They want wars so they can make money. Raytheon make a lot of money.
They're happy right now.
They sell missiles. Those, who do you think make those Javelin missiles? Military-industrial complex. Those companies, that's how they get paid. So if somebody's not dying, they're not happy. We need more killings, man. Where do we invade next? You know?
Where do we instigate a war?
Right. Read verse 14, chapter 14, verse 1. Numbers, chapter 14, verse 1.
The book of Numbers 14 and 1. And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried, and the people wept that night. And all the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron. And the whole congregation said unto them, would God that we had died in the land of Egypt.
All of a sudden,
God we had died in this wilderness.
And you know, funny thing is, it's only two righteous brothers that was ready to, that actually did bring a good report. The 10 other ones be like, we all gonna die. We just gonna die, man.
People were crying.
And of course, you know how Israel is. We ain't got no patience, or we believe on the Most High once we see good things, and the next day we say, we don't see any good thing today, so we don't believe in you anymore. So they don't, all of a sudden they lose hope. All of a sudden they don't believe in the Most High, right? And so what you see is what spies can do, how they can bring evil reports, causing wars or causing people not to believe, and more. Continue reading.
Verse 3. And wherefore the Most High our power brought us unto this land, to fall by the sword, that our wives and our children should be a prey. Were we not better for us to return into
You heard
Egypt?
that? All of a sudden Israel is like, man, we need to go back to Egypt right now. We got to go back, man. Because when they look at that evil report, it says those people were so tall, we look like grasshopper in their presence. Those are the Anakim. We definitely saw the children of the Anakim. The Anakim were supposed to be super giants. They're like, man, listen, we saw the children of the Anakim. They brought us here to die. We're not going to make it. We're going to die. We're all going to die in that desert. Can we please set up captains over us so we can go back to Egypt? They forget about slavery. And this is, when we, at the end of this lesson, I'm going to show you how to get out of the slave systems. But a lot of you be like, nah, I think it's better to go back and get a job. But continue.
And they said one to another, let us make a captain, and let us return into Egypt.
Essentially, let's get rid of that Moses guy. We're going to have to choose ourselves a leader. We're going right back to Egypt, because here we're not going to make it. Read.
You were crazy. Then Moses and Aaron fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the children of Israel. And Joshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, which were of them that searched the land, rent their clothes.
Read.
And then spake unto all the company of the children of Israel, saying,
So those two brothers were among the spies, and now they're going to say some words. To be like, people, calm down. It's not that bad. The Most High can help us. We can conquer them. You're going to see how the people react. Read.
saying, the land which we passed through to search is an exceeding good land.
It's a good land, guys. It's a very good land. Read.
If the Most High delight in us, and he will bring us into this land, and give us a land which flowed with milk and honey.
Read.
Only rebel not against the Most High Yahweh.
So don't stop. Don't do what you guys doing. Don't rebel against the Most High. Read.
Neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us. Their defense is departed from them, and the Most High is with us. Fear them not. But all the congregation bid stones them. All the congregation bid stone them with stones. And the glory of the Most High appeared in the tabernacle congregation before all the children of Israel. The Most High do show up.
You see that? Because they was right there like that.
They were ready to stone Joshua, Moses, everybody.
That's it. We're going to kill those cats today. Because I know they're trying to say smooth thing. Everybody else say they saw them giants, but you talking about it's a good land. You want us to die, don't you? We're going to kill you. Israel, our people being like that, man.
Oh, man. That's okay. That's it. We're killing y'all.
You know what I'm saying? But again, the men
Most High glory had to show
up to save Moses. You know, that's how our people act, you know. So, but the whole point of that is spies can back report. And if you have spies that are untamed and having no oversight, no form of control, the damage that can do can be significant. Okay? And I will add that the intelligence community, they are the only group that's allowed to cheat, lie, and steal. And they will tell you openly. In fact, one of the former director of the CIA, Mike Pompeo, he said that. He's like, as spies, we lie, cheat, and steal. That's what we do. Now, they have to do it for the defense of the country. I get it. They're protecting their country. That's okay. But then what if there's no oversight? What if now they start going rogue? Such to the point where you would have, for example, Operation Northwoods, which was a proposal that the CIA would start bombing cities in Miami so they can blame the Cubans to give the United States government justification to invade Cuba. You heard that?
Kill their own citizens.
They are perfectly capable of harming their own people so they can serve some kind of higher purpose, like to invade another country. That means if you're not controlling your spies, and let me add one more thing. During the Cuban Missile Crisis, when the Soviets were ready to go to war, the United States, everybody ready to go to war, at the last minute, really the last hours that was left, Kennedy decided to make a trip to a neighborhood in Washington, D.C. And he went to sit with a couple of people. Instead of focusing on, a crisis that's evolving and millions of people can die, he went to a party to hang out with a couple of people to be able to make certain decisions that none of his cabinet members were even allowed to go to the party. And who you think were partying at? They were spies. Some of the best spies in America, like the leading spies. Now, I'm not going to get into what happened after that. You can look it up yourself. But the whole point is, there are decisions that it's not made by your elected officials. There are decisions they're made by powers that's working in shadow, that you don't even know they exist. People that you don't even know their names. They don't have social security, no way of tracking them. They can get in and get out of the system, nobody knows. That's how powerful they are. And so the 10th estate is the clergy. We have to talk about that. The clergy, we're not talking about your local pastors that's lying to you. We're talking about the Pope. We are talking about the Ayatollahs. Did you know if the Ayatollah tell you to tell the Iranians to kill people, they're gonna kill people? Some Shiites, for example, if the Ayatollah say kill yourself, they just kill themselves. That's how much they believe in those people. And the same thing, a lot of Christians, they so much believe in the Pope. Whatever the Pope tells them to do, they'll do it. So the 10th estate is the clergy. In the same way you have the Ayatollah for the Shiites, you also have Ayatollah Sistani for the Shiites in Iraq, and of course Ayatollah Khamenei for the Shiites in Iran. You also have the Pope over the Catholics, and also you have the Cyril of the Patriarch of Moscow. His name is Vladimir Mikhail Gudyanev. He's the Patriarch of all the Russian Orthodox Church. Before them Russian soldiers go to fight Ukraine, you see all the priests were doing this thing like that, ceremonies to bless them. So those guys have so much power, they can send people to die by the hundreds and thousands. This is the clergy, and those guys are all the way up there, and their empire have been running not just for 1 year, but sometimes for 1,000 years. How long do you think the Catholic Church been around? Give me a number, my brother. How long the Catholic Church been around? Over 1,000 years. Actually, over 2,000 years. Over 1,000 years, almost 2,000 years. What about the Russian Church? Over 600 to 700 years. How much gold do you think they've been amassing? How much crimes do you think they've done? Who do you think started the slave trade? Minister Yeshua, help me out.
Pope Nicolas V of Rome with the Doom Diversas.
What was the Doom Diversas?
It's a paper bull that gave Alfonso of Portugal right to put everyone that's not a Christian to slavery.
You heard that? The Catholic Church started the slave trade. So the clergy is all the way up there, 10th place. But right above that, you also have the 11th estate, which is secret groups such as the Jesuits, the Illuminati, Freemasons. Those are the soldiers of wickedness. For example, let's talk about the Jesuits. Did you know the Jesuits have something they call a black pope? You didn't know about that too. So you have the white pope, who's the guy that we look at as, oh, he's so righteous, he's so pure, he's so this and that. But then you have the Jesuits who call themselves the soldiers of God. Or they say we fight for the pope, and they can kill if they have to on behalf of the pope, even if the pope don't tell them to kill. And those guys, a lot of times, they choose who to become pope. So while you're looking at the guy as he's the pope, he's the most powerful man in the Catholic Church, no. There are powers that put him there. And if they don't want him there, they're going to topple it. And a lot of people believe the Jesuits were the ones that toppled the previous pope so they can put a Jesuit pope. Look it up.
They are led by a black pope, basically. That's what it's saying. There's a black pope. There's a pope that dressed in all white. There's one that dressed in all black. So the black pope is over the white pope. How deep can it go?
So now you start understanding why a lot of doctrines being pushed out. Now we start understanding why a lot of ideology is being pushed out. Because it's coming all the way from religious people. Did you know the Pope now accepts homosexuals? And he's actively pushing for everyone to accept homosexuals? Yeah. So now, would someone who's Catholic quit the Catholic Church because of what the Pope has said? Because the Popes now say, it's okay to be gay. I don't see any problem. I watch the video myself. And those things I'm saying, it's not things I'm making up. I watch it myself. What does the Bible say about homosexuality? Give me, I think it's Deuteronomy 8:22.
Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile her. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination.
It is what?
An abomination.
It is an abomination. So now that the Catholic Church agreed to it, you're going to see all Christian church will agree to it. Why? Because they're all following the Catholic Church. It's the same doctrine. If anything, a lot of those Christian church, they have the same flag, the same Vatican flag, the yellow and the white flag. They are all following the same doctrine. Once the Pope say it, everybody's going to say the same thing. Right? So now the next estate is what I call ancient families. Ancient families is families that's been around sometimes for 3, 4, or even 500 years. You were talking about the family of the Rockefeller. The Rockefeller family is so powerful. And they've been around for such a long time. They own so much lands that you would have, if you put those lands together, that would give you countries. Not one country, many countries. That's how much land they have. When countries don't have enough money to go to war, who do you think they go ask money? They go ask those powerful families money. There's a family, I think the name was, they call it the Amsher family. There was a war that happened, and the war was the Battle of Waterloo. And that battle was between the French and the English. You know what this guy did? He goes and he created a secret group, okay? A secret group of people. He sent them close to the front line. To the front line and tell people to stay there. Then he told them, you guys gonna bring, literally it's a fake news operation, but listen to that carefully. When the war is close to wrapping up, you're gonna come back. Regardless of who's winning, you're gonna tell everybody in the United Kingdom that England lost the war. And that the French army is coming, every children gonna be raped, all the women gonna be slaves, your house gonna be burned down. And not only that, he had a team of people ready to buy things cheaply. Why? Because if the enemy is gonna invade your house, what you gonna do? Let's say you know the Chinese is coming, right? The Chinese or the Russians, you're like, I gotta get out of here. I'm going to Mexico or something like that. You're gonna sell everything you have for a penny, right? Hey, please take my computer, give me $2. Here, take it. Your computer that was worth $80. So he had a team of people ready to do that. So as soon as the war was close to finishing, France actually lost the war. France was losing the war. But his men started spreading news around the United Kingdom, around London, saying, we lost the war, the French army is coming, we're gonna all be slaves. And people were selling everything they have. People were selling everything they have at a penny's worth. And his other team was just buying things. When news finally reached, like the real news, that United Kingdom prevailed, that England prevailed, and that the French army lost, it was too late. Because everybody already lost. Some people lost their house, they lost their cars, they lost everything. Family, a Jewish family, became the most powerful family in the entire Europe. So much so they became the foundation of the banking system. Because this guy, before he died, he put his children in every continent to create major banks. And from that time, they had so much money. They were wars. Even when the United Kingdom, when England was at one point being bankrupt after a major war, they were the one that saved England. And England ended up, of course, owing them for almost perpetually. So those are major families. Now, that's one family you know, but there are families that you don't even know.
They call them private sector.
Private sector?
Yeah. They always say, what can we do with the private sector? You hear that often? Private sector. Meaning, it's as you can see on the pyramid, I don't know if you're going to talk it, there's a part of the pyramid that's detached from the body.
We're going to talk about that.
Right? It's private. And it's outside of your laws, your boundary. It's you there. But I'm sure it'll give you more details.
Right. So let's read. Let's see. Let's get Psalms right quick. Psalms 83. Let's read Psalms 83 verse 1 right quick.
The book of Psalms 83 and 1. Keep not thou silent, so Most High, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and then consulted against thy hidden ones.
Read.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against you. The last one, the last estate, the 13th estate, is what we call a secret confederacy. That secret confederacy is those families, those ancient families. You're talking about 1,000-year-old families that's been in power for a long time. For a long time that you don't even know they exist. Yet, they are still working in the shadow to do things like cause major wars, reducing population, right? Manipulate market and financial systems, but also continue to oppress God's people. This is a network of families. For example, a lot of you would think, well, the Edomites, they don't seem to be organized enough. Really? They still have dukes, don't they? According to the Bible, the Edomites were the only people that had dukes. Europe still has dukes. What about the Amalekites? We know who the Amalekites are. They're still here. What about the Hamites? They're still here. What about the Arabs, the Ishmaelites? They're still here. Those 1,000-year-old confederates, those are networks of powerful families that come together to control global affairs. This is why you would have little countries like Mali and Burkina Faso trying to stand for themselves. But those global families, it's either you make a deal with one, or you make it. If you try to say I'm not making deals with them, I'm gonna deal with that, you still find out it's the same family. Because it's either it's the same family or they're part of this network working together. Let me ask you something. If you lose your money, right? The FDIC has to guarantee you're going to get your money back, because the FDIC is supposed to be the banking system insurance. But who insured the FDIC? Yeah, who insured the FDIC?
Who's FDIC?
Okay, you have something called the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. We also have the World Bank. When they lose money, who insured them? Because the IMF is supposed to support countries' global economy. Let's say your country become poor, you're going to apply for a loan so they can help you. How do they make money? Where do they get their money from? Okay, you're going to say all countries put money together. But when they lose that money, how do they get that money back? Because you have to insure your money. Who's insuring their money? That pyramid that you see on your dollar bill has 13 steps. We as employees, we are on step 1. We are the field slaves. Your supervisor is on step 2. That's going to be your house slaves. And it goes all the way to the 13, where you have confederates, 1,000-year-old families that come together. But on the very top is that piece of the pyramid that's not even attached to the pyramid. Get me Revelation chapter 16, verse 10 right quick. Revelation chapter 16, verse 10.
The book of Revelation 16, verse 10. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness.
And his kingdom was what?
Was full of darkness.
Read.
And they gnawed their teeth, their tongues for pain.
So wait a minute. The beast has not only a seat, but the beast also has a kingdom. Now, you might think, oh, maybe it's one kingdom. It's a confederacy of countries. Okay? It's a confederacy of countries that work together, all at the behest of the beast. Now, let's read Revelation chapter 9, verse 11 right quick.
Let me say one thing too. When the Bible calls something a beast, why is it calling it a beast? Anyone have any idea why the Bible is calling the kingdom a beast? It's monstrous, it's huge, it's deep.
That's right.
It's strong, it's powerful. Right? That's what we're dealing with. The Bible called this kingdom a beast.
Oh, we're going to read about it.
As we start going through the step, you're like, man, that really goes deep. I thought Elon Musk was something. Yeah. It goes deeper than Elon Musk and all of these cats. These cats are bred for the elites.
No, I mean, as a people, we are so low in the bottom of the pyramid.
We can't see all the way up there.
We're thinking, man, if I become, you don't even want to become like Elon Musk. Like, that's all the way up there. I just want to be like, maybe like Kendrick Lamar, have a couple of millions. I'm satisfied. But you're going to find out there are people that's all the way up there that can literally have guys like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos bow down to them. And those people is people that you don't even know their names. I mean, we know of a few families, but we know there's even more families. That's like families that own countries. If you think about, for example, the Hashemite family, which is the family that owned the entire Jordan.
Like Hashem who?
Yeah, you're like, who Hashem what? You didn't know. But the Hashemite family, they own Jordan. And the king of Jordan is Abdullah. He's the head of the Hashemite family, and they have tons of money. And those people, that family's been so powerful. They were there since the Crusades. How much gold do you think they've amassed? How much silver? First of all the things we had in Israel, what do you think they do with those things?
Again, you see Israel, why it's a family is a threat to them? Building strong families. You know why it's a, and I'm going to tell you one thing I've learned about this family. They intermarry the family. They don't marry outside. They met like Hashemite family marry Hashemite. They will not marry from outside. Like sometimes brothers and sisters be getting married and everything. Because they need to keep the wealth within the family. But they aim to destroy your family. Because they understand they don't want no family up there giving them no competition. They want to keep it the way it is. So how do we destroy family from the ground up? So they never rise to our level. Because they understood money and power reside within family. Who would you rather trust, family or strangers?
But this is one of the ways we as a people were able to amass a lot of wealth back in the days. We had a nation, the nation of Israel. It was a family, the 12 tribes of Israel. Then after we had a huge chunk of our people, we had the northern kingdom misbehaving, and they decided to start doing their own thing, right? Then the nation got split. Then you had the house of David continuing that family thing, because the house of David was huge. Almost everybody that was in high position in Judah was actually part of the house of David. Right? Everyone that was in position, meaning in powerful position in the kingdom of Judah, was of the house of David, because the house of David was huge. And of course, we know Solomon participated in building the house of David, making it much bigger by having 1,000 wives. And that's what the Arabs do now. This King Abdulaziz, which was one of the leaders of Saudi Arabia, he had like 700 to 800 children because he was trying to build the house of Saud. And now you do have the house of Saud controlling the country to the point they call it Saudi Arabia. So we're talking about powerful families that have huge amount of wealth. And those, they get to change things. They get to play around with politics. They get to control your countries, control the narratives. And this is what we're dealing here. This is what we're dealing with as a people that we don't even know. Yes.
You guys see the importance of family now? The importance of having a lot of children. More family, more control, more power, more business. You understand? But they're telling you have one child. Have 2 children. But what you don't understand, children are like plants you plant in a garden. When they grow up, what happens? They produce more fruit. They start producing more profit. But these people, they're ruled by family. It's the way it is. The house of David, he had so many children. Do you understand? But they tell us don't have a lot of children. And they want to break family. They pit the men and the women against each other to destroy family. It's time for us to wake up.
Go right. Let's get Revelation 9, verse 10, 11, and 12.
Revelation 9?
Verse 10 and 11.
The book of Revelation 9, verse 10.
Read.
And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were sting in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months.
Right, those are the locusts. Read.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon. We had a whole lesson when we break this thing down. We were talking about the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is Abaddon, being the king of the locusts. And Revelation described him as the guy that was, is not, and who's to come. A spirit, essentially. A powerful spirit, essentially. And that powerful spirit is also what they call the angel of the bottomless pit. And at one point, he did exist. He was, but not anymore. But he will return. What happened? What do you think happens when he's not here? He has people doing his bidding. He has religious leaders sitting in high places, taking orders directly from him, working for him, worshiping him. Okay? If you guys want, feel free to check our YouTube channel because we have a whole breakdown on that. So I don't want to get too deep into it.
I must say one thing. A lot of you don't know this government. There was a scandal that popped out that they found all these top guys. They were going in places, sacrificing children, worshiping a big Baphomet.
Right. Just to give you guys a hint, the lesson that we had, we broke it down how that spirit was hopping from one empire to another. And the very first empire that spirit was where? Was Egypt. And that spirit itself, you have now people talking about the eye of Horus. What is it like? It looks like the eye that's on top of the pyramid. But we find that same super powerful wicked spirit left from Egypt, then went straight to Assyria. From Assyria to Babylon. From Babylon to from Greece to Rome, and from Rome to America.
And also, isn't it suspicious, guys, that the same pagan rituals in Egypt is found in America? The same, Christmas tree, there was in Rome, there was in Babylon. It's one spirit going over time doing the same chaos, same worship. Nothing has changed. You understand? Go ahead. But again, Ephesians 6:12 put it, we're fighting against spiritual forces. The rabbit hole doesn't stop with rich families. Only the people that are closer to this devil will know what we're talking about.
Let's get Daniel chapter 10:20 right quick. I have to show you that before we close. Read it. 10:20. Read.
The book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 20. It reads, Then said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia, and I'm gone forth.
When he say he, who's that?
That's the angel.
Which angel?
Gabriel.
Was it Gabriel or Michael?
Is it Michael?
Yes.
It
was Michael.
Okay. Verse 13, he said, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me one of the 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia.
Let's pause for a second. So Gabriel was supposed to bring a message to Daniel. He couldn't bring the message because the prince of Persia stopped him. Wait a minute. Hold up. Gabriel is an angel. How could the prince of Persia stop an angel? That's because the prince of Persia is a fallen angel. That's right. Now we're getting into spiritual warfare, right? So we have to ask yourself that question. Then he say, after Gabriel called 911, which is Michael, or what we call Michael, Michael showed up and took care of business. Probably beat him a couple of times. And he's like, after I'm done wrestling with that spirit, then I'm wrestling with the prince of Grecia, knowing that the next empire that's going to come right after the Persians was going to be the Greece.
Let me read verse 20 again.
Read it again.
And said he, Knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee, and I will return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I'm gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia,
there's going to be another one. And that's why we talk about the same spirit that's hopping from one empire to another. But the best thing is, just like we saw it in, I believe, Daniel 10 verse 1, where it says, Michael, fight for your people. Michael is that angel that fight for Israel. Wherever we are, Michael, he has to be there to defend the children of Israel. That's right. We also see it in Revelation 12 and 13. He fights for the children of Israel. So we don't have to be afraid. We don't have to worry.
So there are higher power. And a lot of those families, ancient families, they go straight up worshiping Beelzebub. They're worshiping the devil, right? And guess what? That king, when we talk about the king of the bottomless pit, when we talk about Abaddon, when we talk about that spirit, is the same individual, the same devil that's there pushing for wickedness, causing wars, having people slaughtering people, depopulation, pushing homosexuality.
Genocide.
Okay? And you, what you don't know is you are in the very bottom of the system. And so for you to get out of the system is to start looking at things they don't want you to do or they don't want you to have. Number one, they don't want you to do righteousness. Start doing righteousness.
So let me say this: is the thing that disconnect from the pyramid? You would say that's the spirit that rule over it.
That's right.
Right.
It's not a spirit that you can touch. It's not part of your ladder, yet it has control over the pyramid.
It's looking at it.
You can't even touch it. You can't even fight it. But it's there and it's watching over your empires. And like I say, it kept hopping from Egypt to Assyria, from Assyria to Babylon, from Babylon to Persia, from Persia to Greece, and then from Greece to Rome, and from Rome to America. When I say America, that also includes the Vatican. And the Vatican, that's why when we read it in Revelation, it did say is the beast seat and a kingdom. Because it does have a seat, meaning spiritual seat. That's why they call the Vatican the Holy See. It has a seat, but also it does have a kingdom. So now going back to what we were saying, for you to exit that system is to know the things that they don't want you to do, the things that you know they don't want you to do. Number one, they don't want you to keep the commandments. You need to start keeping the commandments.
That's one thing they teach. The law's done away with.
They teach the law's done away with. Well, the law is not done away with. Hamashiach said that himself. So you need to start keeping the commandments. The next thing you're going to notice about that system, they don't want you to own anything. Whether it's here in the United States, whether it's in another country, try to own a piece of land or a house, cash, where you don't have to make payments. That's the greatest advice I can give you today. The system does not want you to own things. Back in the days, you could get Microsoft Word for free. Now, they set it up in a way that you have to pay $60 to $100 every year. There's a lot of other services that you have to make monthly payments. For example, your bills, you want to pay like, let's say your phone bill is $1,000, right, for the year. Go to your phone service provider and try to pay the whole thing at once. See if they're gonna let you do that.
Even your insurance, because I'm learning insurance right now. If you decide to pay your premium for the whole year cash, then there's a fee that they don't charge you. Your bill become way less. The monthly payment come with a fee, like some kind of fee.
A lot of times they don't want you to pay it up front because it's not beneficial to them. They want you to make monthly payments because they make money out of that. Pay attention. They don't want you to own anything. Okay, tell me something that you really own. Your apartment, you don't own it. Your house that you think you own, you have a mortgage. The word mortgage is two words, French words. Mort engage, which means death engagement. You are making monthly payments for 30 years. Before you can enjoy your house, you collapse and die of diabetes or high blood pressure. What is that really your house? Okay. You decide, you say, well, I'm gonna get something smaller. I'm gonna get I'm gonna have a condo. You have HOA. HOA say you can't park here, you can't do this, you can't do that, and they have something I forgot the name of it. If there is like a cost, if there's like something happened to the roof, they can jack up your price 1,000-fold just to repair the roof, even though it has nothing to do with you. This is a slave system, ladies and gentlemen. You want to do a couple of things. Number one, you need to do righteousness. As I say, you have to become more righteous and keep the commandments. Number two, it's necessary for you to, I would say probably this should be number three. You should get more skill set. And that's one thing our people don't do. We don't get a lot of skill set.
You need to get more knowledge and learn how to create your own businesses and work for yourself. But of course, as I mentioned before, number 2, you need to have something like a property that's paid cash. I'll tell you, it's better for you to have a hut. It's better for you to have a container home than you making payments permanently. Because once inflation hit, your rent goes up to, you're gonna find out your rent goes up to $5,000, and you making only $700. Then you're gonna realize you're gonna be homeless within the next 60 days, probably 30 days for some people. And that's already happened to a couple of people. One of them called me and said, the price went up by $400. I don't know what I'm going to do. $400. They say, "4, you don't pay it, you can get out." So, but if you did have a house that belonged to yourself, even though it's a 1-bedroom house that you built for yourself, or if you had a container home or something in your own land, then you would have to worry about that. Yeah, things would be tough. You would work to feed yourself, but not to worry about where you have to sleep.
Let me say one thing. As you can see, man, this world is collapsing in real time. Why do you think they don't even let you have the seed with the melon so you don't plant your own plant? They're getting to a point where they want to starve off everything that finally you will realize you're a slave. Where you depend on them for food, for clothes, for cars, for everything. You understand? Even there'll be a time, because the brother was telling me that in Florida used to have a lot of orange tree. People used to have it in the back. They kill everything. You cannot have your own food, grow your own food in your backyard. It's a lot of states make it illegal. So what's going to happen eventually, you will realize you're a slave. Because for food, for shelter, for everything you need, you're going to have to go to them. Because this is the whole plan, man.
You don't own your house. Oh, fine, I have my car. Well, it's not your car because you're making payments on that vehicle, right? Oh, better yet, now a lot of people, they're moving to electric cars. Fine. But wait till you don't pay the bills. That smart drive itself right back to the dealer. Okay? Now, you say, all right, at least I own a piece of land. Let me go plant. But you don't have seeds. Everything is seedless. What you going to plant? This is why I tell people, if you can harbor some seeds and preserve them, do so now, because it's only going to get worse. You're going to have orange, I have no seeds. You're like, I can't even plant. Potatoes, I don't know what you're going to do. Those potatoes are GMOs anyway, right? So that system is set up to corner you in every way. And the only people that want to feed you is those people that's going to be creating those GMOs. They are manufacturing. There are manufacturing crisis in America, making you think there's a homeless crisis, making you think there's not enough homes when there's so much home, all of them locked. This is why there was an immigrant guy, right, from Venezuela. He had a whole channel teaching people how to take over the houses that they see are empty. So they shut down the channel and they I think they put a warrant for his arrest or something like that. Well, I thought there was no homes. I thought you said there's no houses. Yet there's tons and tons of houses that nobody's living in them, empty. There's nobody living in them. Yet, oh man, we have a housing crisis. You ain't got no housing crisis. Open some of those real estate skyscrapers that have tons and tons of rooms with nobody in them. What about that? Why don't you do those things? There is no housing crisis. There's enough house for everybody. I'm telling you, everyone in Florida can have 2-bedroom apartments. But they make you believe there's a housing crisis because they are keeping them. They're not putting them in the market so they can cause the price to go up so you can't afford it and struggle. It's not a lie. It's true. It's a system. It's checkmate. Everything you try to do, they say, I got you.
But
now.
I must tell you something. The biggest solution is not even us getting a field, getting our own land. The biggest solution is Zephaniah 2:1, what we already read. Gather yourself together, O nation, before the Ezekiel come forth. We always read this. We're not taking this thing serious, man. If we don't want to come together, everybody is my own self, I'm trying to live my life. We're not coming together, let's buy a piece of land. Let's do this. Let's put our head together and actually create our own stuff so we can be self-sufficient. We ain't going to make it in this time, man. I don't care. Like the way the slave system, they give you enough, the little bit left you got. It's not enough for you, man. We have, but if we have a little bit left, we put it together, we can actually build some. But we dreaded of doing that, and we're at a crucial time where if we don't, it's either we do or we don't. But it's gonna come back to bite us, man.
I say it again. Come together. If you can't come together individually, buy yourself a piece of land here in America if you can, or go to another country. But in America, it's even harder because sometimes you buy the land, they say, yeah, you buy the land, but you can't build here because this is in a construction zone. It's my land, bro. Yeah. You know, they say, yeah, this. Zoning laws. They say, yeah, it's zoning laws. This is, they call it reservation for birds, something like that. It's only birds that's supposed to be here. It's your land, but they get to tell you can't build here. It makes no sense. So that slave system is designed to control you and make sure you make no progress. Those decrepit wood, they build them houses with, you put the money together, it should cost you about $60,000. All materials and labor. But no, they're going to charge you for inspection, roof inspection. They have to do a bunch of. At the end, you end up spending $100,000 in inspection and nonsense when the house is not even worth that much. But let's add something to it. All right, let's think about it. If you go to the water, right? Let's say you go to the beach. It's God's water and it's God's fish. Why do you have to get a license to fish? Sir, you need to have a license to fish. I don't. This is God's water. Is this your water? Did you create the sea? So even the fish, you need to get a couple of fish to feed your children. They say, nah, you need to have a license. And let me see that fish because it looks too small. What are you talking about? Right? So that system, when we talk about communism is bad. When we talk about socialism, when we talk about every country is bad. But we're realizing the same thing is happening over here.
They're slowly taking over.
They're taking over all of your rights. They're taking over all of your power. And even, for example, your license. You want a security license, right? All right, you have to get a security license. Next year, it goes up by 20%. You still have to pay it, though. If not, you cannot be a security guard. Like, oh, and then you have to take a training, which I will charge you for it. And the guy that's going to give you training has to be an instructor licensed by me. So every single way they have to make money. But at the same time, they're slowly taking away your rights. So you can't do anything without them. You have to be completely and hopelessly depending on them for your survival. You go out there, even poor people can even beg. They go out there, they go beg. It's illegal. Did you know Ron DeSantis? They call him DeSantiminius, whatever they call him. Did you know he passed a law that if you're homeless, you cannot sleep in let's say you're homeless, you'll be like, okay, let me go to the park and just sleep on the bench for a second. You're under arrest. You don't even have the right to be homeless.
Don't be homeless.
Don't be homeless. So you cannot even be homeless. So they're taking all of your rights. Because that system is designed to keep you in the bottom.
And meanwhile, they don't open anything for them yet, as I've seen. Like every morning, I've seen by the house, the police come and kicking people out at night.
You know what
But they don't have anything for them yet. Like, it's like they used to be under the bridge. Now, they make the bridge a way that if you sleep up there, you're going to roll on the street. so it's like, don't be under the bridge. Okay, I'll go back by the street. You can't beg here. Like, don't leave, don't breathe, just die. Just die.
You know what they say? They say, well, if you're homeless, all you have to do is go to the shelter. A lot of those homeless people, they become homeless because they have financial problems. And sometimes they have warrants because maybe they didn't pay court fees. The moment you go to the shelter, they have to do a background check on you. If they find there's any warrant against you, you're under arrest. How would you know if there's a warrant against you, knowing you owe everybody? That's why you're homeless, because you broke. So you don't even know. You're like, let me see if I can get this. Sir, there is a war. If you don't run, you're under arrest. You're going to jail. So that system is not good. That system is horrible. That system is evil. And my hope is you take note and learn how to get out of that system.
It's to come together.
Come together, keep the commandments. You need to own stuff. You need to own stuff. It has, like, especially land and houses. Even if it's small, even if it's one room, it's yours. And if you cannot do it in America, do it somewhere else.
Right, but I must say the biggest solution is to come together as a people. I don't care how much money you're making. These people are way more powerful than you. Even if you say, well, I got some money as a brother, I'm making good money, I go build a turkey leg, a business called Turkey Leg. You see what they did? The brother that opened a restaurant with Turkey Leg? The whole city came down trying to shut him down. The togetherness is what's going to save us. Because you can't even buy your own land. Then they say, we're taking that back. They do whatever they want to do, but our strength is in our unity. But what they manage to do is so divisive, they destroy every lack of trust in what we have. And us as a people continue following the system and wickedness, we can never come together. So I think it's time for us, men, to really keep the Most High commandment first, be honest, be true, follow the instruction the Most High give us, increase knowledge, and come together and build ourselves up.
Con, with that, I imagine upon Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem.
I imagine upon Jerusalem, let's stand and face Jerusalem. Hallelujah.
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 Barakatah Hawa.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Bahashem.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Lanatan lanu.
Lanatan lanu.
Wayom.
Wayom.
Hashabbat.
Hashabbat.
Bashalom.
Bashalom.
Borak.
Borak.
Yisrael.
Israel.
Selak.
Selak.
Yisrael.
Israel.
Shemar.
Shemar.
Yisrael.
Israel.
Yekak.
Yekak.
Shatan.
Shatan.
Toda.
Toda.
Amen.
Amen.
Blessed be your name, Yahweh, for this beautiful Shabbat day in peace. We thank you for the understanding of the lesson, to understanding what that means, that we fight against principalities and rulers in dark places. And every word you say is true, is pure, is right, is reality, O Yahweh. For as we're learning more and more about this world we live in, and the more we understanding, the more we understand that thy word is true. And that the more we understanding, and the more we understand that we have to come together as a people. For this is not a simple bit. This is things that we're dealing with that's beyond what we understand and know. We pray that you keep us in this truth strong. We pray that you keep us in the spirit of unity. We pray that you put a new wind of unity among us, that we not only walk in righteousness, but everything that we do it with honesty, integrity, and that to the point that we can attract more brothers that may put their heads together with us, and that we may work in righteousness. Pray that you forgive our sins and our iniquities, and prepare us against the day of adversity. Protect thy servants and all those whom you have chosen these last days. For we know revealing and exposing this kind of truth will surely make somebody upset. But O Mosai, Yekak Shatan, bless your people, bless us, keep us, protect us. We ask all these things by Hashem Yahushai Torah Tamyan. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom Yaimu. Barak Hashem Yisrael. Hallelujah Hashem Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom O Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom Yaimu. Barak Hashem Yisrael.
Hallelujah, Hashem, Yahweh. In the Most High hand, hallelujah. All praises to Yahweh. Thank you for coming. Remember donations, commitment. Support this great work we're doing here. And this is the best way we can come together when you contribute, because all this money go back to us. It goes back to our community. It doesn't go back to corporate. It doesn't go back to the mission, right? It stays here to the work of the Most High. Hopefully we can get to the level we get all these things that we talk about. Most High bless.